My name is Madison Burke, and this is my culturally responsive library project. For this project, I went through the library of my mentor classroom and looked to see how the different characters were represented through the various books of my classroom. This is what I found. I discovered that 18% of the general characters were male, 16% were female, 25% were non-human male characters, 14% were non-human female characters, and I was unsure of the gender for the other 27%. I noticed that only 6 books had female main characters, 7 books had male main characters, 7 books had non-human female main characters, 16 books had non-human male main characters, and I was unsure of the gender for the other 4 non-human character books. You can see that the library has a drastic incline of non-human male characters and non-human male main characters. The chart represents the race of the characters and the race of the main characters. Many of the books in the library do not have one main character, but rather several characters throughout the book, like the ones in the upper right-hand corner. These books represent different races, although there is not one main male character. Majority of the books took place in a farm setting. There were 3 books that reflected a suburban area and 1 book that reflected the city. There were no books on the desert, so that is why there is one sad, lonely, lost snake in the bottom right-hand corner. Settings in books are a great way to familiarize students with different parts of the world, and I wish that there was more of a variety in the setting of the library. There were no books related to the LGBTQ community. It's important to represent all families and allow students to look through books on their own that they can relate to the community. There are no books that included characters with disabilities. There were no books that represented characters who did not speak English. There was only 1 book in the library that reflected a family structure other than 1 mom, 1 dad, a brother, and a sister. The book involves 1 mother and 1 son. I think that family structure is the most relatable to students, and having books that can relate to a child when they're having a hard time could be very beneficial. The preschool that I intern at is located in the upper middle class neighborhood of Arcadia. This school was also a shared space with a church. Majority of the students came from wealthy families with traditional family structures. I had a total of 3 girl students and 4 boy students. 2 families in the class have 1 child and 2 parents. The other 5 families had 2 children and 2 parents as of now. One of my students is bilingual, and her family often speaks Spanish to her when they pick her up from school and at home. I have 1 student who has an uncle with autism. Sometimes his uncle will pick him up from school, and he loves when he gets to play with his toys. I think that my classroom library can reflect the students better. There were several books using non-human characters and different ethnic backgrounds, but I do not think that the library has enough to reflect on every student. I think it would be beneficial at the beginning of the year to order at least 1 book that could fit each student's demographic. You can use books as an opportunity to show students what life is like outside from what they already know and provide students and opportunities for students to get familiarized with other norms.